Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of From Page to Stage. I'm your host, Wendy Corner, and this podcast is for you if you are an entrepreneur. Yes, page and stage come together in entrepreneurship. And you may be thinking, really? A page? Well, put it this way, you may have a solo book out, you may have a contributory book out, you may have a regular blog. If you're an entrepreneur, you've got socials, haven't you? Well, what's that if it's not published work? Tick that box. What about the stage thing? A lot of the people I work with are entrepreneurs. They are also introverted and go, oh, stage, really? No, that's not my jam at all. And my question to them is, can you have a one-on-one conversation with somebody? Yes. Then you can do a podcast, just like we're doing now. So come and join us, entrepreneurs who are shy. Let's get your special sauce out to the world. Oh, that's the podcast intro over. Right, now, today I have the joy and pleasure of introducing you to Andrew Frazier. Now, I quite honestly do know this much about Andrew because we've met through a mutual friend. So there was an introduction connection. I'm going, I think this gentleman would be a brilliant fit for the podcast. So Andrew, take it away. Tell us a bit about who you are and how you came to where you are today.
Okay. Like many entrepreneurs, it's an interesting journey. My first business was in fourth grade. I had a paper route in Pittsburgh for 5 years, 7 days a week with my brother. And that was an amazing experience and really couldn't even appreciate how much I was learning. And so that really, helped me understand business, people, and it was extremely valuable. And continue to draw from some of the lessons. And of course, everybody has a journey. My parents were teachers, so I had to do well in school. So I ended up getting a degree in mechanical engineering from MIT. And you're like, well, what are you doing? Why are you doing this?
Well, what are you doing with your mechanic?
So, but I served as a naval officer, ran business functions for a ship. You know, worked as a corporate executive, got an MBA in finance, and left all that to actually buy a business. And when I went to buy the business, I was working on that, and at the same time was coaching, consulting, and training entrepreneurs and business owners. And I found that buying a business ended up being really elusive because deals would fall apart for any number of reasons. So I looked up after 2 years. I was like, hey, I'm doing this coaching, consulting, and training. It's growing. I like it. And spent a whole bunch of time not making any money trying to buy a business. So 17 years later, I've worked one-on-one with over 1,000 business owners. I've written 4 books now, created online training, and really found my calling. And excited about talking to you more about it today, Wendy.
Lovely. So this is it. I mean, very often we decide on a degree that we're going to do, and it may well be something that we've been steered into, which may not be, as you point out, your calling. But then you got your MBA in finance, and hello, business, and you definitely had that call. Yes, wonderful. Okay then, Andrew, where in the world are you?
I'm in northern New Jersey, right outside of New York City.
Okay, lovely. And is your work with specific, are you location based or do you work with people across the globe?
It's primarily been location based, but my business is 80% virtual. So I do work with people outside of the area as well. And I've been, building more of a following, and just part of why I'm writing the books and creating other resources and doing a podcast live stream is to really expand and share the knowledge I've gained with more and more entrepreneurs and business owners.
Excellent. Because I was going to say this podcast has a global reach. So this is where I check in with my guests. are you, and I know sometimes when I've talked to tax consultants on this sort of forum, they go, well, US tax, of course. Okay, not right for a global audience then, because obviously people need to be able to relate to you and you to them. So that's great. You have a potential global reach and you've got a podcast yourself, you were saying.
Yes.
Tell us more about that.
Well, several years back before the pandemic, somewhere I heard or learned that, you have to, every business needs to be a media business. And they said, and basically it was, if you like to write, you're a blogger. If you like to speak, you're a podcaster. Or if you like to perform, you're live, you're a live stream person. So that's what you need to be doing. So
you've got to tell people, haven't you?
Yeah. So I took that to heart. Really created strong digital marketing footprint. Utilized having the live stream podcast as a way to really develop relationships, develop my speaking skills, and further educate myself. I learned so much, from that, in addition to everything else I'm doing.
So your podcasts go out live?
They go out live every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, over LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook at the same time. And
do you have StreamYard?
I do. I use StreamYard.
Yeah.
Yes. So
excuse us, audience. This is a little sort of podcasty back end conversation, but you can come in on this one as well, will they?
So we do that. So we put out live, and then the recording's available, and then we put it out a month later on all the podcast channels as a voice podcast.
Oh, audio only. Yes. Fabulous. So it goes out every week, goes out every month, or what's your?
Every week, every Tuesday night, and it's over 5 years. So we have over 250 episodes and over 250 guests.
Congratulations! That's longevity. That really is longevity. Yes.
Thank you. Yeah.
Fabulous. Okay. So we were podcaster to podcaster. Yeah, that's brilliant. Okay, Andrew, I want to take you back in time. When did you first get the idea that you were quite good at this writing thing? I mean, we all learnt the mechanics roughly around the same age, but take us through your journey of writing.
Well, I would never say I was good at writing, but I realized that I had a lot to share. And realized and understood that was the best way to do it. I went, one of the reasons why I liked MIT was because you didn't have to take a writing class to graduate. So
well, I mean, forgive me, but engineers are not generally known for their prowess at English.
Correct. So I've developed my skills significantly since then, because I had and because it's one of the most important skills you can have. So it took me 5 years to write my first book, Running Your Small Business Like a Pro. And I only finished because I hired someone to help me at the end. Because it was a lot. I had a lot to say, but I had to organize it. And then I never learned to type, so it was really hard to type and think at the same time. And so it really helped having someone work with me to get me over the finish line, and also just to make sure it was a great book, because he understood what a great book should look like, and the components of it and the structure of it.
So this person was acting as a developmental editor, coming alongside you in that respect.
Even better, since I couldn't type.
They typed as well. He typed for you as well.
We would be on Zoom, and I would talk my chapters to him, and he would type them. And then he'd ask me questions, and
so audience, just a quick interjection here. if this is resonating with you, going, I'm not brilliant at writing, I may not be absolutely fantastic at the typing. If you're on, excuse me, if you have a Word, I can't vouch for Apple, but if you have a PC, you can actually dictate onto Word and it will transcribe. Now, it may not be perfect. You will have to go and check it. It's like any AI thing. It doesn't always get it accurately. The other thing you can do is record into your phone. Transcription apps are available. It's a very different ball game to when I first started writing. Thank you, Andrew. Forgive me for the interjection. So you had somebody who was coming alongside you, picking up the framework, picking up the text, picking up the developmental editing, and typing it for you.
Right. Well, what we did was we created the structure, so the table of contents, so we knew what we were doing, and then I talked through each chapter with them because we knew what we wanted the chapter to be about.
Yes.
Because I had done training on everything that's in my book, and I've taught it, but I had never written it, and that was before AI was good.
Yes.
You know, because that was like 2012 through 2018. Now AI is amazing, and you know, actually the program that I like to use is otter.ai.
Yep.
You know, but also Zoom does it now for you too.
Yes, it does. Yes.
So there's amazing tools out there. So there's
Well, this is the point, isn't it? Because there are some people who say, well, I'm dyslexic, I can't write very well. No excuse now.
Yeah. No good reason. So
yeah. Okay, so when did you actually, I mean, okay, so your book came out in
2018. My first book came out in 2018.
Your first book came out in 2018. So you were working alongside somebody with that aim that you were going to get this book out. Great. So what prompted you to start writing?
Well, I mean, I had worked with over 500 business owners one-on-one by that point. And you know what I had learned, the patterns I was seeing, you know, I wanted to share those because not everybody could afford to work with me. And you know, I don't have you know, I only have so much time also. So
yes,
you know, it's very valuable, and not a lot of people really have that level of experience with small businesses and the insights on a holistic level. So really wanted to be able to create something that could help people.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, isn't it? As you say, that if you're saying the same thing over and over and over again, there's a pattern there, there's a void there, and then you can say, well, funny you should mention that. I cover that in this book.
There you go.
Go read the book. And when you've read the book and you realize that you still can't do it without me, let's talk. Perfect.
That doesn't hurt either. Yep. So
yeah, excellent. So the first book came out in 2018. Talk us through your books. So that was which one?
That was my first one, Running Your Small Business Like a Pro.
Okay.
Really liked that and got a lot out of it. So that led us to create a companion workbook. So the workbook matches up with it chapter by chapter.
Right. So if they can't, they don't, you don't have the time or they don't have the resources, there is something that they can work through themselves, book and workbook together. Love it. Love it.
And also a lot of times you learn by doing. You know, you could read a book about, finance, but you know, if you don't actually put some numbers together on a piece of paper and you know, actually think about it, you're not really going to take much away.
Exactly.
So
you can read all you like about swimming, but unless you get in the water, you don't know whether you can do it.
There you go. So that was a great combination. And then, you know, as I work with more and more people, you know, I found a pattern of, you know, the path to go from startup to scaling a business. And there's really 5 steps in the path. So, you know, you start out working on the concept of your business, working in your business, working on your business, working on the future of your business, and scaling your business. So my next book, the Masterpreneur Playbook, what that does is outlines the path and how to traverse it successfully. So, for your business, there's the path where there's a certain challenge you have at each step. There's a certain goal you need to have at each step. There's a certain structure you need to have at each step. But the other side is, as an entrepreneur, you have to evolve, because your business can only go as far as you're prepared to take it. So there's a certain key skill that you have to demonstrate at each of the steps for you to be able to move forward. And that's why so many business owners get stuck, because they're not sure what to do. They're not focusing on the right things, and they may not have developed the skill that they needed to move forward as much as they need to.
Right. So you go through all of those elements. Now that's in your latest book? I just released a new book 2 months ago. Well, this is what I was getting at. So what you just said about the 5 steps, is that in this latest book?
That's my third, and I have a 4th book after that.
Oh, tell us more. Prolific writer that you are, sir.
Yeah. So and actually the most recent one is called 99 Proven Tips to Accelerate Your Masterpreneur Journey.
Pulling up on the Masterpreneur theme that you've got through that.
Yes,
got it.
Because that's the proprietary framework that I created. And but this book, it's 99 tips from 33 guests on my live stream.
Got you.
So there's a lot of knowledge wrapped up in that, across, from a lot of different people across different areas. So so that's a great addition. And just now you can reuse things and recycle things. You've got we have the live stream, we have the podcast, now we have the book, and then we use some of the live stream content in our courses. So and that book, a lot of it was done AI. So that was like the easiest book.
Okay.
Because we took content from the show and used AI to kind of sift through it and come up with content that matches up with the guest and the expert. And so yeah.
Well, as you say, I mean, AI has improved dramatically since your first outing as an author. Definitely. And yes, you audiences, if you're going down this road, absolutely use it to brainstorm, help you out, and know at the bottom of most AIs, well, all AIs that I've seen is do check it, because we can sometimes get it wrong.
Yes. And with AI, it's a little bit like garbage in, garbage out.
Exactly.
So, if you're going to do it, you need to put a lot of content in. So usually, even if I use AI, I'm going to put the recording of me talking about what I want in there. I'm not going to just say, write a chapter about this.
Exactly. Yes.
I'll say, take this and put it into a format, a chapter format or whatever. Or, in that book, we had everybody's 3 tips. And then we did a story that demonstrated the tips. So we gave the tips to the AI, and we asked it to, write a 1-page story that demonstrates these tips. And
I like it.
And then it's going to be accurate, because you gave it enough info that it knows what to do. Yes,
exactly. As you say, the prompts that you give it have to be very clear. And if you're not clear, it won't be clear. So it actually helps you to focus and get the clarity of what you're putting in, as you said, the garbage in, garbage out. Once you have those prompts, and they will take some refining, So don't expect, audience, that you can just give it a heading and it will generate it for you, because it doesn't quite work that way. But yes,
Yep.
that's fantastic. Okay. So when did you start the podcast?
So I guess it's 5 years now. So like 2020.
2020. So
Yes.
during the pandemic?
During the pandemic, yes.
Got it. Love it. Thank you. So and you're doing these regular podcast live stream, telling the world. What other speaking experience have you had? Tell us about your speaking journey.
Well, I've always done teaching and training, and even in school I was a teaching assistant and done. So I've spoken in the educational sphere or training in a company.
Yeah.
Through the business, I do training entrepreneurs, webinars, other forums. And then, of course, I created events for entrepreneurs and business owners called the Power Breakfast. So we've been doing it for about 12 years, and we'll have a featured guest speaker and networking. And usually what I'll do is one of the events per year I'll speak at. So actually my next one is on November 21st here in New Jersey.
Okay.
And at the Park Avenue Club, and I'm gonna speak on the topic of 10 levers for scaling your business. And then that's based on content for the next book that I'm writing.
There's another book coming. Oh, great. I was going to ask you about that, but we'll come back to that one for a minute. So primarily I'm hearing that you find your sweet spot of speaking in the training, the teaching side of things. Is that correct?
Yes. But I was invited to do a keynote address in December. So I'm preparing for that now.
Great.
So excited about that. And given my background, I didn't used to be fond of speaking in public, but I've gotten very comfortable through the years, from the training, from the live stream, and then having the book content really makes it easy, because
you know your stuff.
Yeah. You know what you're going to talk about, it, it cold, I mean, writing a book was one of the more challenging things you can do. And it makes you know your material in a way that no other experience can, because you may know something, you may have learned something, so you know a little bit about it. You may have experience working in it, so then you know more about it. But the next level is teaching it. You got to be able to talk about it, but you also have to be able to answer questions. And the next level is writing a book, because not only that, you have to answer their questions before they even ask them. So
exactly.
So you think about your material in such a intricate way that you really understand it inside and out, and then it's so much easier to be able to talk about it. It's second nature.
Well, that takes me to my point about when I work with authors who are just thinking about it. So they're entrepreneurs and they haven't quite got pen to paper. The questions I ask them is, why this message? Why you? Why this audience? And are you clear about the audience? And why now? So if you can identify those 4 whys, then you start really writing, because as you point out, if you know who you're targeting, who your ideal audience is, you can write from their perspective. So yeah, that's really powerful. Brilliant. Thanks, Andrew. When is your next book scheduled? Have you got a projected date that you're going towards?
Well, my personal goal is by the end of the year, but that's probably aggressive. But I like to set aggressive goals.
Okay.
So I'd say definitely by the end of the first quarter.
Right. Yeah.
So,
That's great. That's great. Because yes, I mean, audience, if you're not familiar with the machinations that go on underneath, it can take quite a while to get the idea down onto paper, refined, developed, proofread, because what you think you've written may not actually be what appears on the page. Just saying. Edited to within an inch of its life, but still maintaining your voice. Then it's ready as a manuscript, but you also need a cover. Don't forget, you've got to put a good cover on it, that one that's going to be eye-catching, a title that's going to be scroll-stopping, that people are going to go online and go, oh, that looks interesting. Tell me more. So that's the sort of thing that happens before you get as far as publishing. And then the publishers deal with it. Or if you go down the roads of doing it yourself, therein lies another very steep learning curve for you. Then you've got to talk about it. Absolutely. Brilliant, Andrew. Thank you for sharing that with us. So we've talked about your writing, we've talked about your speaking, and you've got this big keynote coming up. Love it. Love it. Is it being recorded?
it is.
Good. Good job. Because that's part of, again, authors who are coming to this going, yes, when you speak about it, get it recorded. Because one, although it's scary, it gives you a chance to critique, not critical, critique yourself as to where you are to start with and where you carry on towards. So yeah. Oh, I'm really excited for you. Really excited for you, Andrew. That's coming up in December.
That's coming up December 12th in Pittsburgh. So I get to
go Pittsburgh, home. So you got to get on a plane.
Yeah, well, I'll drive.
Okay, forgive me, my geography isn't brilliant.
It's about 6 hours, but you know,
okay.
Flying is not real good right now with the air traffic controllers and other.
Oh yes, I'm not up to date with the latest, but I know that government workers in America are not very happy at the moment, are they?
Not at all. So
we'll leave that to one side, audience. We'll not get into that.
Right. We won't get any further into it, but
no, that's as it is. Okay, so Andrew, we've talked about your writing, we've talked about your speaking. You've mentioned that you've got a new book coming out by the end of first quarter.
Yes.
Audience, I have dynamic show notes. If you're new to this podcast, what I mean by that is Andrew will come back to me and go, oh, we've got a launch for a new program. Oh, we've got a new book coming out. If there's a new book, I'm likely to go, come hither, let's have another chat. But the point I'm making is that the show notes will change. When my guests come to me and go, oh, such and such has happened, I go back, change the show notes, do a quick socials blast, go, do you remember that brilliant conversation I had with Andrew Frazier? Well, go back and check it again. Something's changed. So you get the opportunity for another quick socials blast to promote you. So that's what you've got coming up. When you go from page to stage, as you absolutely will be for real big style in December, how do you embody your words when you take them from page to stage?
It's a good question. And I might even say I go stage to page to stage.
Oh, right.
Because most of my book content comes out of things I teach and train on. So you know, the page really refines it even more and makes it mine. And then going to stage in a non-training capacity is a different type of communicating.
Absolutely. There
So
are different skills required for the different roles you take on, which is why I was quizzing you earlier as to where your sweet spot is at the moment. So you're going to be
right,
growing into the keynote skills as well. Love it.
correct.
Love it.
So I think, one of the biggest things is tying your message back to whoever is bringing you in to speak. So,
Yes.
I actually, for this keynote, it's an organization that's fairly new,
Okay.
but they're on the same track to do some of the things I've done through the university for business owners. So
Okay.
I'm gonna sort of mirror what I've been doing and key things with what they're doing and with what the future holds, um,
Yeah.
as a way
Yeah.
to sort of combine, because if they're bringing you in to speak, it's
Mhm.
important that one, you recognize them, and they come out of it, um you know with value for their organization, and
Absolutely.
and towards their mission and goals. So
Mm.
being able to speak to them and during the message is good, but then also building um around it, using my
Yes.
content.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, because you've got the what's in it for me principle. I'm sure you use that all the time. Audience, if you're going, what's she on about? What's in it for me, or WIFM, as it's often known for short? You've got lots of information in your head, but the examples you give have to make sense to the people in front of you. Otherwise, they don't relate. So the what's in it for me is always coming from their perspective. So as you say, Andrew, you've got the company who've brought you in, you're tying up your examples to things that they can relate to in their day-to-day work. And the companies go, oh yeah, 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 yeah. Come back and speak to us again. Yeah, yeah.
So
Great job.
definitely. And the other thing, it's even writing a book and speaking even more so,
Mm.
is you sort of know too much, so you have to be careful about saying too much.
Oh,
You really got
yes.
to narrow your scope.
Yeah.
So even if I'm speaking about my content, my talk may be about really like half of a chapter in the whole book, as opposed
Yes.
to so you really have to focus, and less is more. um
Oh,
you know
definitely.
Nobody
Mm.
ever complains about a speaker who goes under time. So
Unless you're the event manager and you've got a whole load of them
well,
lined up, and you go, oh, jinx, we've got another half an hour before the next one. Really? So, yes, but I take your point. People
yeah.
do not want you to go over. Absolutely.
So
Mm.
especially since it's a dinner. And
Oh, right.
I don't want to
So
go
you're on the dinner rota, are you? So that they're listening to you while you're speaking and eating?
over. Probably.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's an evening. I don't know if they'll. Very, very possible. Very, yeah. I
Okay.
would say probably. So you got to look at also, the venue,
Yeah.
the the schedule of the whole event, to
Yes,
get a feel
exactly.
for sort of how you address it.
Yeah. Well, you're going to have your work cut out to keep the attention if they're eating as well,
Uh, I,
because
I, I,
you're going to need to, I mean, people's attention will wander. So
right.
this is what, excuse me for offering you something. You throw in the odd curveball that they may not have been listening to, and they've suddenly gone, oh, hang on, what did he just say?
Yep. Yep. And I have
And
video content as part of my
all
talk.
right, yep, yep.
So
So it breaks it up nicely. Yeah.
yeah. So
Cool.
just try to get creative and make it interesting.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, I like it. I like it. And you're recording it too, which will be brilliant. So you can repurpose that. Yeah.
Definitely.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Well, Andrew, we've covered your writing. We've covered your speaking. We've covered the fact that you've got 4 books out so far, and there's another one. So the last book came out when?
It came out September 30th.
Oh, right. So it's very, very recent.
Very
Audience
recent.
is recording this. This is November 2025. So it's only a couple of months old. So it's still fresh on the shelves. Go check it out. And we've got the next book. My word, you're churning them out, sir. Congratulations. The next book is coming out by the end of the first quarter, 2026.
Yes.
Got it. Okay. As we're winding up then, have you got any final words of wisdom for our audience?
I think that one of the I always set challenging goals, but I always understand that things are going to happen the way they should.
Nice.
And success is where preparation meets opportunity. So
Oh, say that again. Hang on.
success is
This
where
is a writer
preparation
downer, guys. Success is
preparation meets opportunity. So
ooh,
certain things I've worked on wouldn't have been possible the way I was working. Certain technologies came available that made them possible,
yes.
even though I had been working on them for a long time before. So so it's important to have patience, but keep moving forward, and it'll be ready when it's ready, but it's more important for it to be great than fast.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, thank you. So don't give up. Keep going. It will come in the right time.
Definitely.
Yeah. Patience and persistence. I love that. Thank you so much, Andrew, for sharing your From Page to Stage.
Well, thank you for having me. This has been great.
Thank you. For now, bye from us.
Okay, thanks.